You're stuck with the night shift at a lonely kiosk, rain hammering against the windows, and the only thing heavier than the storm is the silence left behind by the last worker, who vanished without a trace. Every order you serve feels like it might hide a clue. Every flicker of light threatens another mystery, and even the notes taped to the walls carry ominous warnings. Customers might offer hints or distractions, but one wrong move and you'll miss something vital. Welcome to the Kiosk. Developed by Vivi, it's an indie horror game that drops you into a fast food stand and dares you to uncover what happened to the missing employee before you. On the surface, it looks simple. Take orders, cook food, hand them out. But as the night drags on, strange events creep in, and suddenly you're juggling the stress of customer service with the dread of what's lurking outside in the rain and inside the kiosk itself. So why this game? It isn't a visual masterpiece, and the mechanics seem straightforward. The main story only lasts a couple of hours. I beat it in one live stream, and the narrative is direct. But there's something unexpectedly special here. Each day pulled me further into its rhythm. The surprisingly hilarious cooking mechanics, yes, I couldn't resist launching meals straight at the customer, the breadcrumbs of a mystery about my missing predecessor, and the jump scares that had me leaping out of my chair. Whoa! Even the little details, the sound of sizzling food on the grill, the relentless downpour, the satisfying ding of a completed order kept me hooked. Simple on the surface, sure, but by the end, I was completely absorbed. Kiosk's horror doesn't rely on elaborate monsters or cinematic gore. It thrives on simplicity and tension. Its backbone is built on classic tropes, sudden jump scares, ominous blackouts, and unsettling fragments of information slipped into casual conversations with your late-night customers. Most of the time, the people at your window engage in small talk, banter, puns, harmless jokes, but every so often their words cut a little deeper. A throwaway comment about the last worker who went missing, a police officer quietly probing for details about strange activity in the area, and, in one unforgettable case, a revelation from a customer that flips the tone of the game on its head. I won't spoil it here, but when I heard it, I suddenly became hyper-aware of every shadow around me. The jump scares themselves are simple but devastatingly effective. Each day, without fail, the power dies, forcing you to trek to the back and reset the fuse box. It's predictable, even routine, yet that routine becomes its own weapon. The second the lights vanish, the silence swells, and you brace yourself. And still, the game finds ways to get you. Even knowing something was coming, I found myself leaping in my chair, recording this very video, heart pounding as if I hadn't expected it all. The rush became addictive. Every blackout was a dare, a challenge to my nerves. Then there's the atmosphere, which may be the game's most insidious tool. The rain never stops, its steady rhythm filling every empty space between orders. The only other sounds are the hiss of food cooking and the oppressive quiet of being utterly alone in that cramped stand. When customers are gone and the kiosk falls silent, you're left with nothing but the storm outside and the scrawled notes pinned to the walls. Notes from your missing predecessor, each one pulling you deeper into the realization that you're not just cooking here, you're trapped. The walls won't save you, and with every passing night, the kiosk feels less like shelter and more like a cage. Kiosk horror lies not in what it shows, but in what it withholds. It uses silence, routine, and subtle revelations to make every moment feel uneasy. The game lures you into a rhythm of cooking and serving, then rips that comfort away with whispered truth. By the end, the question isn't just what happened to the last worker, it's whether you'll make it through your own shift without unraveling. Now, let's shift gears to the real heart of the game, the cooking. At first glance, it looks simple: burgers, hot dogs, soda, and beer. The boss even gives you a handy cookbook, complete with little how-to videos for each dish. But every new day brings new recipes, expanding your menu, keeping you on your toes. On paper, It sounds basic, but trust me, the cooking here is where the magic really sizzles. Take hot dogs, for example. Sounds easy, right? Grab a sausage, a bun, maybe some ketchup and mustard. Pretty standard. Until you realize this game doesn't exactly want you to cook the traditional way. Need to open a package? Don't peel it. Just throw a knife at it. Bun goes on the board? Nope, just chuck it across the kiosk. Lettuce on a hot dog? Who even does that? Seriously, if you do, drop it in the comments because I've never seen that in my life. And when it's time to serve your masterpiece, don't hand it over politely. Yeet it at the customer like a fast food catapult. It's absurd, it's messy, it's absolutely hilarious. That's what caught me off guard. How much joy I got from something so ridiculous. I spent half my shift laughing, experimenting at how far I could fling a knife and still cut something, or how ridiculous it looked when a perfectly cooked meal went flying across the counter. The mechanics turned the simple act of prepping food into slapstick comedy, and I loved every second of it. But beneath the chaos, the cooking actually feels oddly satisfying. The hiss of sausages on the grill, the steady crackle of onions in the fryer, the sharp sizzle when food hits hot oil, it all creates this strange ASMR-like rhythm. More than once, I caught myself just standing in the kiosk, listening to the kitchen come alive around me. It's a tiny detail, but the sound designs add a surprising amount of immersion, pulling you into the act of cooking as much as the act of surviving. What makes the cooking in Kiosk so special is the balance it brings. In between the tension and jump scares, preparing meals gives you these moments of playful chaos and lighthearted relief. It's funny, it's tactile, it's immersive, so much more than a side mechanic. In fact, I'd argue it's one of the best cooking sims I've ever played, precisely because it's wrapped in such an unusually unsettling package. For the price, Kiosk is an absolute gem. At just $4 on Steam, you're getting around 2 hours of story-driven gameplay packed with atmosphere and tension, and that's before you even touch the endless mode, where you can keep cooking, serving, testing your nerves for as long as you want. The mix of dread, challenge, and fun made every minute feel worthwhile, and honestly, I'd call it one of the best indie horror experiences you can pack up for the cost of a cup of coffee. So what makes Kiosk such a standout? For me, it's the way it blends three things you never expect to work together: genuine horror, slapstick humor, and surprisingly addictive cooking simulation. One moment you're bracing for the lights to cut out and the shadows to close in, and the next you're laughing as you launch a hot dog across the counter and somehow stick the landing. That balance kept me hooked, constantly shifting between tension and comedy in a way very few games manage to pull off. Some of my favorite moments came from that contrast. Jumping out of my seat from a sudden scare, then immediately cracking up at how ridiculous it felt to throw a perfectly cooked burger at a customer's face. It's equal parts unnerving, hilarious, and that's exactly why the game works so well. If you're a fan of horror games that rely on atmosphere instead of gore, if you enjoy quirky cooking sims, or if you're just looking for a short but memorable indie experience, Kiosk is absolutely worth your time. It may be small in scale, but the impact it leaves is anything but. And hey, if you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe for more indie horror spotlights, and drop a comment with your favorite scary cooking moment, whether it's from this game or just your own kitchen nightmares.